Hello, welcome back to Wolf United WFC. I've spoke to you guys, not these two on screen, but you guys as the viewers 3 times now in the last 3 days. Twitter Spaces on Wednesday. Last night with Phil and Keris, and tonight with Barry and Charlie to go through all things on Sunday. As I put on the tweet, it is our biggest game of the season. Everything is pretty much riding on this Sunday at 2. It's not even half. I was going to say half 2. It's not half 2, is it? It's like 25 to 3 kickoff. I don't know why they need that extra 5 minutes, but maybe they got something planned. I don't know. Get all your comments and your thoughts, all that kind of thing. As I said, this will be more focused, obviously, on the game on Sunday. As everyone knows, our record against Chelsea is not very good. But could this be the first time we finally get the win and get over the line? So I'll just come to each of you just to start with. As you notice, there is no Chelsea fan, unfortunately. Rob was unavailable in the end tonight, our usual go-to, and a couple of other Chelsea fans said no. I reckon they just didn't fancy it on here tonight to through the game. But there we are. Barry, come to you first then. Just a genuine question, just how are you feeling going into it? Confident, nervous? What's your just overarching thoughts going into it?
Well, I'm so scared that I'm trapped in the loo, obviously. So that's how I'm feeling. I'm scared poopless. I'm not. No, the toilet's behind me, just there. Just, I'm not in the place I was meant to be in. But you know me, the show must go on. So here I am, sat on a makeshift table for the next 3 hours of my life. So what can I say? The things that I do for you are unbelievable. What was the question again? How am I feeling? I am feeling oddly okay. I'm not feeling calm and at ease. In some ways, a game against Chelsea is perfect, really, because the expectation level against Chelsea, they're the one side that we've never really beaten. So as a result, it's almost like that last hurdle to overcome. Every other side in the league we've beaten. I haven't quite managed to do it against Chelsea. So I feel like it's one of those where if we lose, you kind of sit there and go, well, the status quo has been maintained. And if we win it, we can all go absolutely balmy and crazy and a little bit mad and basically take over Twitter, because all of the Chelsea fans will be hiding at that point, either that or moaning about the ref or something else has gone wrong or reading poems. So, something's going to happen, I'm sure. But for me, yeah. So not confident, but not frightened either. Just looking forward to the occasion.
Yeah, it's a weird one, Charlie. How are you kind of feeling on it? Because I'm with Ellie. I'm weird. I don't know why, because history would tell you we've never beaten them. So there's no reason really to be confident, because we never have. We will eventually, whether that's this Sunday or in the future, it will happen at some point. But I'm more confident going into this one than I was going into the Etihad a few weeks ago. And that's really bizarre. So are you kind of on that fence, or are you more on the concern side?
I am very chilled out about the whole thing, because I just feel like we're in a situation now where any result we get is a positive, isn't it? I'm not even looking at it as it's all we've got left to play for, so that heightens it for me. It's just like it feels like a shot to nothing. And then one of my friends to me, I was talking to them about it at work, and they said that old adage of there's nothing more dangerous than coming up against an opponent that's got nothing to lose. So we just need to go in and be fearless, really, and just play our game. I'd like to see us be a little bit nasty, I think. Just get stuck in, just leave everything out there. But yeah, fairly chilled about it. I think if in the build up to this game, if we'd been like last season and playing so well and turning teams over, I think I would feel more stressed about it, because I'd feel like we should be winning this game. Whereas unfortunately, I feel less like that, but that's actually made me a little bit more zen about it, I think.
I think that's something you both kind of touched on there. It's like if we lose, it's like, well, it just kind of, that's been our season. It's just kind of a thing. Whereas last season, obviously, when we lost, it hurt because of how much better we were last season. So that loss at, in the final and at their place, the 1-0 as well. Because that obviously, that cost us basically 2 trophies. Obviously, losing the final and losing at their place, we win at Kings Meadow. We go on to win the league potentially in that one. So, those 2 results hurt a lot more than like if we lose on Sunday. It depends on the manner which if we get absolutely hammered, I'll be saying something completely different on Monday when we come to the review show. But I'm a bit more like you. I'm just like, if we lose, okay, it's nothing new. We always lose to them. It's not it's not anything different. But I don't know. It would. I think we were just saying backstage, weren't we? This would be such our season just to go and beat them on Sunday, and then maybe lose the final. But to win on Sunday, because it's just been such a weird season. And I do stand by the fact that against Chelsea for 20, 30 minutes, we were all right at Stamford Bridge just before half-time and in that 20 minutes after half-time. That's some of the best we've played against the top three this season. So, Barry, that leads me on to my kind of next question in terms of what lessons can we take from the most recent defeat to Chelsea? Because it wasn't all that long ago, the end of January, I think it was already. Was it Jan or Feb? No, Feb was Arsenal. Jan was Chelsea. I was trying to think of which month was which. So it wasn't that long ago, a couple of months ago. What lessons can we learn from that one in order to not have the same outcome as we saw there?
So I'm just a little bit shocked. I thought that they were singing Jurgen's packing up, and now I'm not sure what's going on, because I did wonder when they were singing it, like, that's a bit obvious, that one, but fair enough, you're all enjoying yourself. But if it's that, that makes more sense as to what's going on. So it would have been nice if somebody could have explained that to me prior to then. Right, we're going to have to remember the question again now. What lessons can we learn? Do you know, Connor, I think that if we were going to learn any lessons from our games against Chelsea, you'd kind of think we'd have learnt them by now. It's not like we haven't played them enough. We know what Chelsea are going to bring. It's the same thing every time. If we were learning anything from it, we'd probably put Tyler Joyce in goal so that we don't end up getting lobbed. That would be one thing. They've got no Sam Kerr, obviously. So in that respect, that's a positive and a bonus for us. But Chelsea have got superstars everywhere across the pitch. So I think ultimately the thing we need to take from it is that we know that we can play. You've just mentioned we had a good 20, 30 minutes against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We had, in the FA Cup final last year, a chance, an opportunity to take the lead, and we nearly did. We were like a toenail offside, which was depressing. But again, something that we can do. And you've only got to look at the last game of the season against Chelsea, whereby we were 4-2, having gone in at halftime 2-1 up. So, we kind of, we have the ability, we have the knowledge and the know-how of what it takes to get goals against Chelsea. The problem is maintaining it over the entirety of the game. What we tend to do is we go in there and we have these bursts where we do incredibly well for a period and potentially take the lead in that period, and then we just basically roll out the red carpet and go, there we go, that's us done for today, crack on Chelsea, what have you got? And you just can't really do that. It's the equivalent of having a boxing match and you do loads of boxing and you get loads of points and you're winning on the card. Then you just put your hands down and go, well, any danger? What are you going to do? And then just let the other boxer just hit you for the next 6 rounds in the hope you're not going to get knocked out. With Chelsea, you can't do that because invariably you do get knocked out. So I think for me, that's the learning. The learning is that we are a good enough side to take on any side in this league. We know that. We've seen it at times. The problem is, like I say, getting it over the 90 minutes. So it's going to require, number one, good tactics. You're going to have to be tactically astute going into the game with a good plan to be able to get the lead, obviously, is an important one in order to win the game. And then once we've got it, we need to be able to keep hold of that lead. And again, that's where the tactics, the substitutions have got to be spot on. Like literally everything will need to be spot on. And then even on top of that, we're going to require a little bit of luck as well, because you do, and that luck could be having a referee that knows what penalty is, for example. You think back, again, you go back to one of the league games last year. We had an opportunity to beat them. 2 penalties, clear penalties on Nikita Paris and not given. So, they're there to be beaten. They have been beaten before. They're not invincible, but whether we can do it or not will require on us having the management team knowing what they're doing, the players knowing what they're doing, and like I say, a little bit of luck, and the refs actually being down the middle.
I think as well with the injuries that Chelsea have got right now, there's no better. Like, I know they've got quality players come in. Ramirez has come in and literally tore it up from the off. Macario obviously coming back from injury as well has been very solid for them. But this, for me, is is going to be the chance to do it. We have the players there. We've got some players coming back, obviously with Hinney and Leah in the last game, which I'll come back to a bit later on. I can't remember what. Oh, that was it, Charlie. The question was obviously about what lessons can we learn. Obviously, in the game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, I used that because that was the most recent example. We went 2 down after 20 minutes, and it could have been 3 really, because that first 25 minutes we got absolutely tore apart. Obviously, both Lauren James goals in that instance. So, do you think that's the big lesson, just staying in the game? Because I say that, but we stayed in the game for a bit against City, and we saw what happened there. Arsenal was very much similar to the Stamford Bridge game, where we went down early and never recovered. What lessons do you think we could have learned from the Stamford Bridge game, but also from just other games against the top 3 this season?
I think you're right. I think if we concede early, it will be difficult. So I just think we need to be really compact and we need to frustrate them. It's like I said before, we've looked good at times and then we've conceded, and then it's just been sucker punch after sucker punch, and we just seem to concede for fun at that point. It's easy to say, but you be looking for them to try and nullify the threat of Lauren James and Erin Cuthbert. A lot of their positive play does genuinely start with her. I think she's really, really underrated. And we need to not be wasteful. And I don't just mean when we're in goal scoring opportunities, because we might find they're few and far between. So obviously we need to not be wasteful then. But just when we're in possession of the ball, is just look after it and try and take the sting out of the game and just be a little bit more intelligent. Like we often when we're in the ground, and Con, I'm sure we've said this before in the stands, when the game's getting away from the likes of Arsenal, Chelsea or City, even if it's just 5-minute spells where they're not on top, they take the sting out of the game. The goalkeeper sits down, they feign an injury, they stop the team they're playing from gaining any more momentum. And we just perhaps need to play a little bit cleverer and play like that, and more of the mentality that they have. As frustrating as it might be to watch, we just need to do what we need to do to win. But I think staying in it is the most important thing. I think if we concede inside the first 15 minutes, we're in trouble. I think we will find it very difficult from that point onwards. I hope I'm really wrong. I hope we have the game of our lives. I would love a grandstand finish like Liverpool United in the Cup for the fellas. I'd love that. But I just don't know. I because of how we've been playing this season, I can't see us being able to all of a sudden turn it on. Even though I know we've got the players that are capable, I hope we can. But I think, like you said, Connor, it's just about staying in it for as long as possible.
I think you raised a valid point as well.
Can't believe I'm talking like that. I hate the fact that I'm talking like that. But
that was going to be one of my questions in a second, so I do want to come back to that actual point. But you raise a good point in terms of stopping the momentum of other teams. It's something we don't. I don't know why we don't have that in us. It's like it is the dark arts, whatever people want to call it. That kind of take somebody out, stop the game for a bit rather than just constantly having shots against your own goal and being under the cosh, so to speak. Especially when you got the likes of Brighton or James or Cannerin, who's been on form for Chelsea this season. Ramirez, Macario, whoever it's going to be for Chelsea in that front line. We can't just let wave after wave of attack come through, because they're going to go in. Chelsea were very efficient at Stamford Bridge, 5 shots on goal, and they scored 3 of them. So that they're not going to be missing chances. Whereas, like you just said, if you take a foul, like knock the ball, someone go down, like just do something to kill the momentum of the game, and just stop that, I guess, oncoming wave that might be. That's a nice point. I like that. It would be, well, not tomorrow, because, well, the men need to win tomorrow, to be fair. But so if you're on about that, then yes. But in respect to this game, I wouldn't be trying to watch it tomorrow, because you'll be disappointed, because it's not until Sunday on that one. There's a comment a bit further. I think someone's already answered it, though. Yes, they have. I mean, I would agree with you if it's for the other team. I'm always shouting for that. But the problem is, well, it's a whole other conversation. You can't know whether it's a genuine injury or not. That's the problem.
You can't, but perhaps, I'm talking about us doing that because other teams do it. And I think if some teams do it, they'll do it. But just stop the teams from being allowed to go over to the touchline. Stop it. Okay, we're going to stop.
that's
You all
fine.
have to go that way. If you try and go over there, then you'll be sanctioned for that accordingly. Just stop it. You can't go over.
If you do, Eva, I'll hold it up with you because it's going to be ridiculously long because of the amount of waffle that she was going on about earlier. So yeah, if you do bring that on Sunday, let us know. I'll quite happily hold that with you. Yeah, exactly. If you can't beat them, join. We've got to do something. You know, I think, as I said at the start of this, we've never beaten them, so we need to do something different. Because if we keep trying the same thing over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same result.
Trying the same thing over and over again isn't working against most teams, so it's probably not going to work against one of the best teams in the world.
I think that's. I wasn't going to ask this question yet, but it's just because you've raised it. So, Charlie, I will come back to you first because you brought the point up. Have you seen anything in any of the games this season that gives you a bit more confidence going into this one? Has there been moments in games or patterns of play or anything in any game this season that you've seen that gives you a bit of confidence and hope that we can do it, you know, for more than just a 10-minute spell and across a full game?
I think there's a couple of things that I think I can hang my hope on, or give me a little bit of hope. It's the fact that I think there is still a massive togetherness with the playing squad on the pitch. I believe that to be true. I think that's really important, and I think they will fight incredibly hard. And I believe they want the team to be successful. The players want to be successful. The second thing is, I do think we have players that can create magic. We just have to feed them, and then we need the rest of our players to be in the right position. Jace is magic. If we can get her on the ball at the right time in the right place. Ella Toon is the same. So is Melvie Mallard. So we've got players that can make things happen. And we've seen those three in particular terrorise PSG at times when we played them at home. Okay, so we know what they're capable of, but we just need it all to click at once. And that's it. So it's not a lot. There's a couple of things there. We have the squad to be competitive. It all just hangs on whether there is a shift in mentality. Like, do they believe they can do it? I think last year we believed in every game we would win. In every single game, I felt like we believed we would win. And that's what we need. But again, anything can happen in knockout football. And Emma Hayes is literally going mad as we speak. So you never know.
I was going to say, Barry, I'll ask you that same question in terms of, you know, have you seen anything this season? Because as Charlie said there, cup football was completely different. And we said that in the away game against Brighton, possibly our best performance this season, you know, where we did perform over what looked like a longer period than just a 10-minute spell in a game. It looked like we did perform for 60, 70, 80 minutes. In that one, obviously got the 4-0 win. Sorry, Sean. I realise you're in the chat. You're not going to remind me of that one. But yeah, have you seen anything, you know, in terms of what we've seen on the pitch this season that gives you more confidence that we can do it this time around?
Well, yeah, the fact that we've done it in short bursts through the season shows that we can do it. So that's the key thing. You know, if you know you can do it, even in little bits, then you know it's there. It means you have the ability to do so. It just means that you've got to start thinking about whether or not you have the longevity that's required to be able to do it. And listen, it's going to be tough. Anyone who's turning up and expecting Chelsea to just roll over won't happen. Anyone who's expecting us to go there and dominate for 90 minutes, it won't happen. It's about, you know, football is about the tactics and understanding that there's going to be moments when they will attack. They're going to have chances, you know, no matter how good you are. No club is going to be so 100% brilliant that they stop every single potential shot and shut everything out. It can't happen. Even if we're throwing bodies on the line and blocking every ball and getting loads of tackles in and doing all of those things, it simply does not mean that you're going to manage it for an entire 90 minutes. And that's where everything comes into play. That's what, like I said earlier, it's where the tactics come in. It's where bringing the right subs on will matter, or not bringing any on at all. You know, it's literally, it's game management, I suppose is the word I'm after. It's making sure you manage the situation. If they go off and score a goal after 5 minutes because it's deflected in off of somebody's, you know, backside, then you've got to deal with that. You've got to manage the game. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't put that into your game management as such, but you do need to have a plan for, well, what if we go one behind? What if we go two behind? What if we go one up? What if we go two up? And more often than not, we score a goal and then we go, well, let's just start closing the shop. You know, it's a bit like when you go to Spain. I don't know if you remember these things when you used to go, that we used to have a little siesta in the middle of the day, didn't they? That's kind of what we're like. We have a good old shift right at the beginning where we set everything up and we have a little siesta. And during that siesta, we get absolutely ravaged. Now, I'm not suggesting for 1 second that there's loads of Spanish people nicking stuff out of shops, but that is what would have happened to us. We'd have been looted. And when we come back, we go, oh, God, what's happened? We had made so much money this morning. Now it's all gone. Ah, mamma mia. As which you wouldn't say, because that's Italy, obviously. But you get the gist. It wouldn't be great. So, yeah, I kind of think that's the problem, if I'm honest with you, Connor. It's just keeping it going. And I'm not convinced that we've done enough this season to show that we can do that. Hence why I said we're going to need a bit of luck. You know, we're going to need some of those shots to not go in. We're going to need people not to be having the sort of shots that are on target so brilliantly. See, Charlie, she does this all the time. She just drops in and out like that, like boom. And she doesn't even know she's done it. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Oh, you did? Just did it on purpose.
He went curly whirl. He went into that little
curly whirly, twisty little, yeah. I like a little curly whirly. So there we go. That's kind of where I think we are. I don't know that it's going to be particularly tricky, but yes, that's the bar. But check out Jane McDonald over here. That can only be you.
What, me?
Well, it can't be me. I'm not singing.
Do you know who Jane McDonald is?
She's a cruise ship singer.
I'm Googling it now.
She's a loose woman.
Well, I don't think we need to be casting aspersions on people, do we, Charlie? It's a bit harsh. Female empowerment and all that.
I can say it, just you can't. That's how it works.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, fine.
I don't even want to comment on.
Yeah,
type in loose woman into Google and see what comes up.
I'm definitely not Googling that. Anyway, there was a comment that Eva just put in a second. We needed a repeat of the Brighton Cup game and the Tottenham game. Fun fact for you, Mallard started both of those games. And then we don't see her since, and we don't perform very well. It's interesting, isn't it? I'm going to be banging the Mallard drum until she leaves in the summer and doesn't come back.
Oh my God, she's so good. She's so good.
It's incredibly frustrating that we're not seeing her at the moment, but there we go. I don't expect to see much of her now. Yeah. Charlie's reading the comments. Like, you like the comments are terrible. Not even reading any of these out. Oh God, this is terrible. Anyway, yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll do like a show at 10 o'clock or something. So it's like after.
Is this a new league? The Northern States Football Women or something like that.
That almost got missed by me. That bit he said amongst all the absolute detritus that was the rest of his chat. That's an interesting word, Charlie. You just used there. I can tell you, like professional these things now. I'm not even going to try and repeat it. So. Speaking the English language. No, what did you say then? Yeah, I can't even say it. Yeah, what does it mean? I'm assuming it means something not very good. Like rubbish, mess, like crud. I'm just trying to use words now that you'll understand. Bad, not good. Oh God, Amara, can you imagine? We said on last night's show, Phil said that I need like my own show for just all my bad opinions. So maybe that's a road to go down. Maybe it's something like that. I was literally about to say that. We're on the same wavelength. That after dark comment. Maybe the same people. Maybe. You know? Seen us in the same
I like the idea of AFU after dark. Does that mean we've all got to turn our lights off?
The views might go up, to be fair.
We just become voices.
Well, if you listen to
look like this, that's us after dark. Ooh. Something like that.
Oh, dear. Right, so we go back to the game. The next question I had for you both.
Yeah.
When we look at it, because there's been a lot of chat about. Nobody wants that, Sean. There was a lot of chat earlier on. I was talking about lineups and all that kind of thing, and being a preview, obviously, we're going to talk about lineups. The one change Mark did make to the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge was Ladd came in for that one, and then we didn't see. I don't think we've seen Ladd since. I think it's been Lisa Nelson's never since. Ladd does seem to be his go-to in these types of games, obviously, with the Etihad aside, because it was Lisa in that one. So I guess the question is, Ladd or Lisa, or does he go for something really funky and take Ella Toon out and go for it more on the defensive? Well, not will he? I'm asking you, would you? Because he's not going to. We know what it's going to be.
Does he go for something super funky? Like, changing one of his starting 11?
Well, that's the question. It's Ladd or Lisa, I think, is the one. I would potentially throw Toon into that conversation and maybe go with Lisa, Selim and Ladd, just to add a little bit more solidity in midfield and a little bit more just grit in the midfield, like just to keep Chelsea out for the period of the game. We
will need to play like 7 midfielders just to try and get the ball off Erin Cuthbert. So I would go 7 in midfield, 3 at the back, and then Mary. That's what I do. And then when we get the ball, all of the midfielders just have to run forwards towards Chelsea's goal. Just run. I don't think he'll pick Ladd. I'm not saying I don't think he should, but I don't think he will. I don't get it. I don't get how you can have a player that's just suitable for your most difficult opponent. That's odd, isn't it? I've got just the game for you. Weird.
And it's weird that she signed an extension, and since then we've hardly seen her. Like I don't quite know. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. But there we are. Portal 30.
Can I say? I don't think necessarily I don't think the main issue is with the 11 players that are picked necessarily. I would love to see Melvin Mallard, but I do believe that if Mallard was playing on the left instead of, say, Garcia, or up front instead of Paris, and if Guerrero was playing in the middle instead of Zellum, and Miyazawa was playing in the 10 instead of Toon, I just still think we'd be playing poor football. I just think tactically we're poor. The setup is poor. So I just feel like that's my headspace at the moment, is I'm not convinced even that just putting these players in will all of a sudden make us be better. I don't think that's necessarily the main issue.
Oh, well, that worries me immensely because it's going to be the same next season, looking like it, as we spoke about on last night's show, but there we are. Barry, do you agree with Charlie there that it's probably not really going to matter because ultimately it's still the same people?
Mark's going to stop listening to us at the end of last season, and it's the sole reason why he is in the situation that he's in right now. That's why I have no sympathy whatsoever. Don't change a good thing. When you've been listening to someone and it's worked brilliantly, and then you don't listen to them anymore, and then it goes wrong, the only thing to do would be to come back to it. I'm tired of giving him advice now, Connor. I think, honestly, what I would say to you is that whatever he does, he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, because he's talked himself into that position. He's talked himself into a position whereby if he doesn't change the players, presumably he's doing that because this is one of the 45,000 million games that needs to be played in order for chemistry to build up. I mean, it doesn't take that long on FIFA. It just doesn't. The line goes gold much quicker. But apparently, that's how many games you need. Not to mention at least 7 hours of, constant phone conversations as well, just that you all know what's going on. I don't know is the honest answer what he could do, because if he then does make those changes, and brings in these players, then again, he's going against it. If you bring in Hayley Ladd, you could argue that, yes, Ladd already knows what Toon and Zellum are going to do, but she hasn't played that often. So, yes, she's had a game recently playing away with Wales, but it doesn't mean that you can then just walk straight in to a Manchester United side and it'll all be okay. And if you do that, Lisa Nielsen, who has been superb for the last season, last few games, this season, has every right then to be asking, well, why am I being dropped? What have I done wrong? Because she's worked incredibly well. Katie Zellem's going to sit there and say, well, I'm the captain and Barry likes me, so you can't get rid of me, because that really would make the internet explode. And then all sort of expletives might come out of Barry's Twitter account. All of them starred, of course, because it's PG-13 and all that sort of stuff. And really, what is there to gain from it? Like, this is the problem. We're all sat here. I know you had your big conversation last night about, the Skinner contract being offered and all of those sorts of things. But this is where he's talked himself into now. It doesn't matter what he does. You're going to find a quote directly from his press conference that is going to completely undermine whatever decision it is that he's making. Because of the way that he's put himself into. He's playing Hannah Blundell at left back. Well, she's not a left-footed left back. So, you've spoken about that. We're going to put Aoife Mannion in at right back just because she did all right in one game. With the greatest of respect, do I see Aoife Mannion being able to run up and down that right flank on Sunday, having had the injuries that she's had and the problems that she's had? Is she going to be capable of doing that? Is she going to give us enough going forward to be able to do that? So I think this is the problem. It really is the problem. And I don't care is the wrong word. Actually, I can't tell you what it is that I'm feeling. The word has escaped me. Ambivalent. There we go. I'm ambivalent towards what he chooses to do. And as we've had people struggling with words today, just in case I'll let you know, it's basically just like, whatever he does, I don't really care. If he changes the team, brilliant. If he doesn't change the team, well. Because it's not good for your mental health to allow yourself to get so wound up by what somebody does who you have no control over whatsoever. So I will be standing there cheering on Manchester United women on Sunday against Chelsea. And I will be doing that regardless of who it is that takes the field. Regardless of whether May Letitia plays at right back, regardless of whether Mary Earps gets lobbed again, regardless of whether Irene Guerrero finally gets an opportunity to go out on the pitch, or if she just has to sit there and carry on shining people's shoes, which is the only job I can imagine she's doing, because we haven't seen her doing anything else. So, what else can we do?
I got my hopes up then. When you said you were going to be standing cheering on, I genuinely thought that was like an admission of you becoming on Sunday then.
No, not this time. But I think that's just kind of where we are. I really hope we win, and if we do, well done, Mark Skinner. But there's no point. We're sitting here having a conversation week in, week out about what he should do. As he always likes to tell us. In fact, I'll put it back on him. He likes to sit there and tell us how he sees these players. He knows what they're doing. He knows what they're capable of week in, week out. We are in an absolutely fantastic position with this team. Don't forget, a fantastic position. Now we've got to go out and prove it. Does him and his coaching team have what it takes? They've got to go out there now and show us that they can put on a good match. And if we get absolutely whooped 7-0, then I hope that Sir Jim Ratcliffe turns around with that contract and goes up to him, proper WWE style, calls him into the middle of the ring, and then just rips it up in front of him whilst the crowd go wild. And I say that purely because this is the level he's put us in now. It's put up or shut up time now. You want that extra contract, prove it. This is your chance. Go out there, beat Chelsea, get us to an FA Cup final. This is your chance. You want me or any Man United fan to sit there and say we're going to support Mark Skinner through another season. The bare minimum is he's got to win the FA Cup. If he doesn't win the FA Cup and we just finish fourth, or at least make the final of the FA Cup, no progress.
No, I think that's a fair point. Like you said there, obviously, there was a lot of people earlier on in the chat talking about his press conference. I think I started this one earlier talking about, I didn't see his latest words. Yeah, and Barry's just referenced the big one there. Even I quote tweeted it earlier because it was saying that we're in a fantastic position. Like you just said, but show us then, because I've not seen this fantastic position that apparently we're in right now. So let's see it. Let's see it on Sunday. If he thinks that we're in a fantastic position and the players are fully there and everything else, well, let's see it on Sunday then, because we were in a fantastic position this time last year. We were going for the title and pushing into the FA Cup final. That's a fantastic position. Fighting for fourth, potentially, well, we're on track for our lowest ever points tally in the WSL ever. Like, that is not a fantastic position. So, no, I'm not having that. Just very quickly, Charlie, before we bring you back in, someone's saying, Ellie's saying, is Millie Bright back? Someone did say, yes, she's back. She's back in training. I very much doubt she's going to be back for Sunday. Don't quote me on that. But as Jason, she's literally had one session. I'll be amazed if Emma Hayes puts her back in for Sunday. I imagine it'll be Buchanan and Bjorn, I would have thought. Buchanan, Bjorn, maybe Carter. I'm not too sure. Be one of those. Maybe two of those three.
We need to target Buchanan a bit. We've said this every time we've played. Like, she's a defender who I think we can get at. I think we've said that before. She's a little bit slow, and she's got a reckless moment or two in her. It's whether we do things like that, isn't it?
No, I 100% agree. I think.
Do you say to someone, follow Lauren James around and just needle her, wind her up as best you can? A bit like an Ander Herrera used to do that to play opposition players, didn't he? Just got to, like I said, we've got to try something different, haven't we?
Well, I think that's it. You know, you're talking about is I've not listened to the full press conference because I'm frankly not too bothered right now in terms of what he's saying. But like I said, that one line about being ready and, you know, obviously being in a fantastic place. Yeah, we need to be on it. Updates on Jade? No, I wouldn't expect to see her anytime soon, though. She's definitely not going to be around for Sunday. I wouldn't expect to see her. I don't even want to put a date on it. Right at the end of the season, maybe, but it's not going to be any time before that. Unfortunately, because I would have loved her, and she was actually quite good, I thought, at Stamford Bridge. So it's going to be a shame. Barry's just brought that up, actually, though, Charlie, in terms of the right-back situation, obviously, with Aoife Mannion. It's like, I would imagine, it's going to be more of the same, because that's what we saw in the last game. Are you happy with that? Would you keep it the same, Mannion at right back, obviously Mayer and Millie in the middle and Hannah on the left, or would you potentially try something different? We saw something maybe different with Leah at left back and Hannah went to the right. Would you look at that, or would you keep it the same as what it was against Everton?
I mean, I would like 4 defenders playing in defence, if I'm being honest. And like I said, Aoife was good against Everton, wasn't she? But she's also, I agree with Barry, this thing about, I worry about her durability. Bit uncouth to say now, and obviously she's been away for the international break, hasn't she, with Ireland, and was worked hard against England. So it's just, yes, in an ideal world, I would have those 4 in defence. I would probably think about having Mayer at right back and Aoife at centre back, just because Mayer can probably do more of the running that's required to get up on the overlap and support Jace. But as long as I just want 4 defenders in defence. That would be nice. And a Mallard. But I don't think that one will happen. It just feels really weird. It feels like a weird build up to this game. I don't know.
I was going to say, you mentioned Mallard there. Would you go? Would that be your? I'm not going to ask you what you think Mallard's going to do, because I think it's pretty obvious. But would you go with Mallard?
I'd play her up top. Obviously, she's incapable of playing with any of the left backs we've heard. So I'd play her at moment, or just dipped out again there. Sorry, I don't know what happens. I'd play Melvine as our number 9, with Jace on the right or you can't have both Garcia or Leah on the left. I just think Mallard, when she's played as the number 9, she's scored a lot of goals for us. She's been really clinical. So I would play her there.
I think that's going to be the interesting conversation. Charlie, you were on the show. I think it was me, you and Jess that we did it when we were talking about the likes of Nikita Parrish, for example. She's been exceptional against, most teams this season, obviously our top scorer and so on. But there are some games you look at and maybe go, this isn't the game for you. Where we look at it, maybe we need that, person who can hold the ball up a bit better, i.e. Mallard, or somebody that can run in behind maybe a bit better, obviously, or better on the ball like Jace or Garcia. Maybe that's the kind of thing. because I wouldn't be playing Paris in this one. You know, I know that sounds ridiculous. If Leah is fully fit, I'd start her on the left, and I'd go Mallard and Jace, to be honest, just to offer us a little bit more. Galton's very good at tracking back. We're going to need it if James is on that side. You know, we're going to need a winger who's going to come back, and I don't feel like Jace going to do that on the right. So I would go for that front three potentially, just to one, it mixes it up a bit, but also, I mean, you're bringing Leah Galton in. It's not like you're bringing in a player who's not played in this system before. It's not been consistently in the team. I know she's been out with injury. And if the talk is true that Garcia is not going to be here next season, then as bad as it sounds, I don't think you play her for the majority of the rest of the season. If she's not going to be here, I think you've got to start. And I think that's genuinely one of the reasons we're not seeing Mallard, because if she's also not going to be here, yeah, I know you've got a plan for the games at the moment, but you've also got to start thinking to next season now.
You just need to play your best 11. If we're talking about an FA Cup semi-final, if you're going to start, I think and he might do, like, we know what the starting 11 is going to be, but if his rationale for not playing players is they're not going to be there, some of them potentially not out of their own choice, I think that's a really baffling way. Like, this is about winning a trophy. It's not about helicoptering, is it? And being Billy Bigby's. It's about trying to win the FA Cup. So we need to play our best 11 players in their best positions to win this particular game of football.
You should certainly hope so. And someone's mentioned, obviously, Newskin a few times. She was actually brought in as a defensive midfielder, and she's like one of Chelsea's top scorers since coming in, playing in that centre attacking midfield role. She's been an exceptional signing for them. Probably, I actually think, I said this to Rob not so long, but I probably think she's the signing of the summer, to be honest, in terms of in the WSL. I don't think there's too many that would challenge her for that one. Exceptional player, and again, another player that we're going to have to look at stopping on that one. Barry, I may as well ask you the same question, obviously, in terms of the front three. I know you just said there it doesn't particularly matter because we roughly know what it's going to be anyway. But would you bring Leah back in, do you think, on the left? Or would you keep, I don't even know who started against Everton. Who was it? Paris, Jason Garcia, wasn't it? I think it was the Everton one.
I've been rather scathing. I think I will give him the benefit of the doubt on that one and say it really does depend who's trained the best as to which three I would be putting in. I mean, Leah obviously came in and did score a goal, but as we saw through the fantastic little touch maps that we saw, she didn't really have much time to do much other than basically get that one shot on goal. So you can't really base everything on the fact she did score a goal, but obviously that is a positive. Garcia was quite helpful at times as well. They've all got their positives, whichever way you look at it. Mallard, we know, is a great player, if somewhat underused. Paris is probably the only name I would suggest must start due to the fact of being the top goal scorer. Other than that, it very much is down to number one, who he thinks has performed the best, who he thinks is doing the best in training, and is there an argument for not playing Jays because of the fact that she still needs another 25 games before she's finally going to understand what's going on down the right? I mean, if it's Aoife Mannion there again, they only had one game. There's another 39 to go before she understands what's happening with the little Aoife Mannion running down the right. So, that could be a nightmare. So who have we got who would know what Aoife Mannion does down? Oh, no, nobody, because she's never really been there for us. So it doesn't really matter who we put on the right, because either way, they're going to need a whole 40 games to work out how Aoife plays. So sucks to be us.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you said what you said about Paris. I was just checking. She's only scored one in the last 8 games.
That's a goal scorer, isn't she, Connor?
Yeah, but you're talking about here and now.
She's only scored one recently. I mean, says it all, really, doesn't it, when you start thinking about who else is coming in?
I wouldn't start her in this one, personally. I think she would be a lot better coming on against a tired backline. I think she'd be a lot better coming on against a tired backline. And like I said, I think we're going to need somebody to hold the ball up and I think Mallard is better at that. I've got no issues if it is Paris. To be honest, I think it's like you said a second ago. I think
you've been talking to me about how it is we beat them, and I think I've cracked it, guys. I think I've worked it out. Genuinely, we play Nikita Paris, and Imara has just unlocked it for us. Chelsea wear blue. So what we do is we do that. We get some of our fans behind the goal, and if you can do your very best Scouse accents, come on the Blues, all that sort of thing. We tell Nikita Paris, we had to call the Chelsea game off. We're just playing Everton. Something's gone wrong. Get into her mind, and then she thinks she's playing against Everton. Hat-trick incoming. Job done. Wallop. Finals, here we come.
Oh dear. There's so many good comments to go. I'm just trying to read them. I'm reading them as they're coming in. NC just made me laugh. I think that was in reference to what you were just saying a second ago. Just to get you back when we were in the Championship, probably. But have you noticed the Championship accounts been tweeting a lot about us recently? Maybe that's because they think we're going to be back there by the end of next season. Who knows? Sean's asking, is there any news on the Paris Cup? Actually, no. And it's starting to worry me a little bit. I said this on the show yesterday. The fact that all the talk is about Mark Skinner. We've got Garcia, Paris, Williams, Earps, Zellum. Still nothing. And it's like we're 5 or 6 games away from the end of the season here. And we've got nothing from any of them. Garcia, I think, is most likely to leave out of those anyway. But you've still got... that worries me a little bit. The players you would expect to be shoo-ins to be signing are still doubting whether this is the place to be. I think that tells you a lot more about what's going on at United than anything else right now. So no is the answer on that one. And yes, Elliot contract is up this summer. I don't know what my next question was going to be, actually, because we kind of covered most of what I was going to say. Just a very quick one. Because I think you've both answered this anyway. But I can't believe I'm about to ask this, Rick. So it's kind of a dead question. But in terms of, do you think the game plan should be trying to stop Chelsea or going out there and trying to beat them? That sounds a ridiculous question, but I hope you know why I'm asking it. In terms of, do we set up to try and, I guess, keep them out and stay in the game for as long as possible and then maybe nick a goal? Or do we just go, no, we think we're better than you, and go at them from the off and try and beat them that way?
I think we need to be compact. Like, we can't be lackadaisical, which means whimsical and airy-fairy, Connor, in defence. But I think if we spend 90 minutes just sitting in, they'll pick us off. They'll just pick us off eventually, because that gets exhausting. I think we're more likely to try and play counter-attacking, I hope, but that depends how quickly we're going to pass it amongst our centre-backs first. But that might be the way to go. So soak up pressure for short periods of time and then try and hit them on the counter. Because there are weaknesses amongst that back line at the moment for Chelsea. I think that, having watched them in 1 or 2 games, I watched lots of women's football, so I've seen them a fair bit. There are weaknesses there that we can perhaps exploit. But we are going to be, the only thing stopping Man United women is Man United women. That's what I'm going to say, in the words of Mark Skinner. We can't sit in and just soak it up for 90 minutes. It won't work. And we certainly won't be able to do that for 120 minutes and hope for the best with penalties. We just have to have a clear plan of action, and that might be counter-attacking football. But then if we're going to do that, if we go with the lineup we think we're going to go with, have we got the right clientele on the pitch? Again, probably not. So no, don't sit in, but also don't go absolutely gung-ho. So neither. Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, no, I wasn't laughing at you, by the way. I just brought it on screen. Michael's comment did make me laugh. We had a nice discussion about it.
Don't eat an apple with a knife and fork, do you?
My hands.
I don't eat it with a knife and fork, no, but I do have that utensil, that cuts it up. Like, you kind of like push it down and it cuts it into the, like, I don't know, what's it called? Like, I'm going to call it an apple slicer because I don't know what else it's called. But yeah, you kind of do it like that. Why are you shaking your head at me for? They're designed for that.
So it cuts it into little crescent, like moon shapes, like I
do.
Like I do for my 6-year-olds.
That's where I was going with it, yeah.
And if anyone's wondering, my favourite type of apple is a pink lady. Crunchy, never stinge on the apple. Love a bit of own brand, but always
nice. My favourite apple is a T-bird.
Always go for Tesco's finest pink ladies, guys, is what I would say.
It's all about the Granny Smiths, isn't it? That's where it's at. They're the proper ones. You keep saying this, Highline. No, all of our services still free of charge. Don't need to pay us anything for these for these shows and for for anything that we provide.
I think it might just want the internet.
Yeah. You got to get it up.
I can't bring.
Of course you can.
I can't bring that on screen.
Why?
That one.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, Jesus.
Can we assume then that from this, Granny Smith is not a pink lady?
No.
Just
Love a golden delicious also.
I can't believe Emily's comment here. How old am I really? This is shocking, this is. Why is it whenever shows get past 45 minutes?
I wonder if this knife and fork, I wonder if you had some sort of trauma when you were weaning as a small child. I wonder if there's something in there, in that. Finger foods.
Do you know what? If my mum's watching this back, she'll probably be able to answer it. But I'm pretty sure when I spoke to her about, no, I have. Maybe I think it was something to do with when I was younger. I didn't like having like things on my hands. I always used to like clean my hands all the time and have like, so I don't like things. You are.
It's a bit OCD-y.
Kind of, I think. I just don't like. So that's why like hot dogs and things like that, cutting it up, it's so much better because it's just. I mean, it tastes nicer for me, but you know, just no. It's therapy for me now. I think it's just.
You do get, Connor, when it's brought up, you do get a very. I don't know if Barry's noticed, but you just get a little bit like on edge about it, about talking about it.
I'm happy to talk. I'll take all the questions. Maybe that's just a show in itself.
Questions and your body language. Say over.
Here we go. What's the question? I can't remember what the original. What did I ask you, Charlie, a second ago?
You said, should we go gung ho or should we try to score never and just sit in? Barry, what do you think?
What do I think about
trying to see out 120 minutes to a bore draw to win it on
Oh
penalty?
God, no! Listen, we've shown. If there is one thing we have shown, it's that what we should never do is sit back. Think about all those times we've gone on, scored a goal, we've taken the lead, and then we go, aha, yes, let's close the door. And all that happens is the door gets kicked down by the size 9s or whoever it is who we're playing against. And it's just not good. So again, not good for your mental health having to watch Manchester United defend all the time. So, no, absolutely not. The times when we've done the best against them is when we go out there and surprise them. Like, again, that 4-2 game, the one we went in at half-time 2-1 up, we were smashing them. They didn't know what to do. When we played to the levels that we are capable of at pace and nick a couple of goals, brilliant. What we can't do is then try and just sit back. You've got to try and win the midfield. At that point, I would then go through not a sitting back phase, but at that point, try and match them up in the midfield. Be in a nice situation where we overwhelm, flood the midfield, bring the forwards back if we need to, and flood the midfield so that the ball gets lost there. Because if you're losing the ball in defence, that's when we end up getting walloped. Or if you leave it in that space between defence and midfield, where only Katie's element is because everybody else has gone walkabout, that's where we end up in trouble. So fill that midfield if you get the lead, but do not just sit there and go, yeah, don't worry, our makeshift back four will be absolutely fine, because spoiler alert, no, they won't.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of somewhere in the middle. I'm kind of like, I don't know, like, are we better this season? No, because as you just said, Barry, we try and sit on leads, and we've been so poor at that this season. And I just don't feel like that's the way I'm kind of with you. I think we just go for it. Because we've got nothing to lose. And Charlie, you made the point earlier, there's nothing scary sometimes than coming up against a team with nothing to lose. So maybe that's the way forward. We just go at them and see what we can do. Obviously, I'm a little bit worried if we go 2 or 3-0 down by half time. The game could be over pretty quick. But I think we've got the firepower in us to make something of it. I don't know whether Barry's got.
So what? This is a football show. I think I've got my diary mixed up. I thought this was loose women.
Football talk.
I was going to say, yeah, I've got one up the arm as well. You need to get one for your wall, Barry.
Awkward.
Yes. Erling's with you.
Facts, actually. We don't mention that enough.
No, I've got it, literally got it like frames. We took the frames over there. I should probably go in.
Frames somewhere we put it under the bed because it wasn't that important to him at the end of the day.
I should probably...
What was much more important was that everybody could see his scarf and his amazing quiff.
Do you know what?
Surely, with a quiff that high, you could just rest it against it. Surely that would be like a perfect stand.
Sure, I probably could.
That's for sure.
I'll have my scarf on Sunday, so maybe we'll try that. Mia's probably going to be vlogging on Sunday, so maybe we'll give that a try.
Oh my God, is she? Oh, are you? Oh, you're going to have to be in it.
Oh, am I going to have to be in?
No, as in like it's going to be traumatic, isn't it? Like I can't imagine anything worse than a camera on me. Oh.
Well, yeah, the half-time one for Everton was interesting when Mia just panned to me and Jess and we just sat shaking her just like, yeah, we're not saying anything. Sorry, Mia. So yeah, this could be fun. It was a good vlog, the last one. Well, we won in the end, so it was going to be, but you know, should we get battered on Sunday? I'm not too sure. We've got a question, an actual serious question as well, a football serious question. That's something a bit different. Do you blame injuries for the season, or are we just not good? I don't think it's either. Me personally, I don't think it's either. I don't put it down to injuries. Someone replied to my tweet earlier saying, "Oh, we've missed key players this season like Rabjon and Watson." And I'm like, as good as they are and as talented as they're going to be, I don't think that's the reason our season has fallen apart.
The injuries haven't helped. It's as with all of these things, it's a little bit of everything. The injuries didn't help. It was quite clear that he wanted Gabby George to be the starting left back, and she was injured, and obviously that blew that plan. So clearly he didn't want Hannah Blundell at left back. He's shown that by still putting Hannah Blundell at right back and throwing Gemma Evans in at left back. So, you know, that's where the second part of it comes in with. Yes, there's a lot about injuries. Yes, there's a lot about, I'm afraid, mismanagement is the only word I can use for it, because I don't think he's done his job correctly when it comes to putting players in the right position. And yes, he can argue as much as you like, I see them every single week, but you do not need to be a UEFA A qualified coach to realise that putting players in their better positions that they have naturally played before is better than putting players that have not naturally played in those positions before in those positions. I know that, and I'm only a level 1 qualified coach capable of dealing with people under the age of 12. So quite frankly, it's not necessary. You don't need it. You just put players where they're best. So yeah, it's injuries, it's mismanagement, but I don't agree that we're not good, because we've proven the fact, can I just say, the fact we are still 4th, considering the season we're having, either says more about the WSL, which I don't think it does, because I think it's been way more competitive this season than it has been in previous seasons. So it can't be that we're not that good. It's just that, you know, we haven't had as many good moments as we did last season.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a culmination of a few things. Because, I mean, I know you said there Gabby George was clearly the starting left back. Well, to me, that's a mistake from the off. Because as good as Gabby is, and she was good in those first few games, Jade Riviere is a much better right back, and Blundell is better on the left, as we've seen throughout the season. So if that was the plan, to put Blundell on the right and Gabby at left, well, where does Jade fit into that? And Hannah's not.
Honestly, I think the plan was to drop Blundell completely.
All that's potentially.
I'm going to throw something out there. I don't think Mark Skinner really rates Hannah Blundell. That's where I'm going with this, because the fact that he felt she needed replacing at left back where she has been better, and then the fact that he just pushed her out to right back and then didn't put her straight back into the left back position, I don't think he rates her. I think he would have gone for Gabby George, Jade Riviere, and Hannah Blundell would have been the backup for Conti Cups. That's what I honestly think.
Do you know, I don't actually completely disagree with you. I think that's probably is about fair. I think someone just made the point on Mia Zara as well. Like, obviously, because we know she got injured for a few months. Obviously, one of those months being the winter break anyway. But, you know, Skinner seems to prefer that one. Sorry, Skinner seems to prefer it to Guerrero. Guerrero to me was just such a. I said this on the show yesterday. That deal has annoyed me the most because we shoved Vilda out, forced her out, and I'm going to keep using that word. We forced her out to get a player in that Mark said needs to adapt to the league and doesn't play her. What was the point in that?
I think you would actually prefer Tullis Joyce to Guerrero at this point because I don't know what she's got to do. She can't buy a start.
What's the Tullis Joyce? I've never heard of
Tullis Joyce? It's another type of apple, Charlie. Grown over in the Americas.
Oh.
Really big apples they are as well, from New York.
Yeah, and also playing players their strength. Exactly. I've argued all season that we're not doing that. In midfield, I don't think we're playing players their strength in the forward line and in the back line. We're just not doing it for whatever reason. There'll be a whole factor of that. And yeah, this is my argument. When people say our season's been decimated by injuries, it hasn't, because I've not read down the comments yet. But how many of those injured players would have got fit? Obviously, people bring up Jess Simpson again, great player. She was out on loan anyway, so she wasn't going to get a look in. Miyazawa obviously started a bit of the season. Gabby George obviously is long term. Watson again, unbelievable footballer. I think she's going to be exceptional. A lot of people I speak to said she's one of the best young players we've seen. But would she have made that much of a difference this season? I'm not so sure yet. And obviously Evie's been in and out of the side as well. That's not decimated by injuries. We've still had the core there that we had last season, as well as a couple of the new players in as well. Where we've been let down is fullback, really, and having to play players where they don't want to play or can't play. It's been the one big problem.
I mean, as I said, I just thought it was just little bits of injuries. So the fact that Gabby George is injured, the fact that Jade Riviere has been in and out of injuries, Aoife Mannion's only just come back from being injured. That's where the injuries have cost us. The fact that we have had to shift about what we're doing with the wings of our defence. And I think that's the main issue that we've had. Because you talk about the people down the left and the right being able to know what's going on. I don't think they have been able to really work out who's playing with who and with what, because Hannah Blundell is not used to playing down the right-hand side regularly, but yet she was. Nobody had played with Gabby George before going down the left. Jade Riviere was quite a new prospect, so I do understand what's being said about that. I just don't agree with the time frame that's put in there. But no, you're right. A lot of the injuries wouldn't necessarily have started, but I think a few of them would, and I think it's in defence where you find that more prevalent.
No, agreed. I think a funny comment as well. Probably helped hide the fact they needed time to adapt to the league and to the tactics. Yeah, well, exactly. But they have played anyway.
Word has it, there's an episode of Star Trek where we get to, Captain's Log, star date AD 2094. Jays has only just worked out how to play with Hannah Blundell.
I'm laughing along like I get the joke. I've never seen Star Trek either. So, I've seen the better Star Wars is better than Star Trek, surely. So at least I've seen that.
Yes, but Star Wars doesn't have a Captain's Log, does it? Where they talk about the day. Oh, move on.
Oh dear. There was a question a second ago I've lost. I should have started it. I can't find it now though. I'm scrolling back up though. I've just seen this early about extra hairspray. Come on now. Don't need hairspray for this.
No, it's sponsored by Brill Cream. Don't you know that? It's in the song.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even... Didn't Simon Pegg write some of Star Trek? Or was he in it?
I don't think he wrote any Star Trek, surely.
I've seen an interview with him where he said he was co-writing some of it. Or
maybe
he was in it.
New Star Trek, but not Dr. Spock. You've heard of Dr. Spock before, right? You've watched The Big Bang Theory?
No. I've watched documentaries on The Big Bang, like the actual one that happened in real life.
Not the real one. The one with Sheldon Cooper.
No.
Who arguably would be easier to live with than you.
Yes. Oh, Eames with me. See, I knew it wouldn't take long. People are on my wavelength. You don't want to be on my wavelength, though.
Connor has one person that agrees with him, and he thinks he's starting a movement.
This is what happens. Remember the days when one person went, "Oh, I eat a burger with a knife and fork as well," and all of a sudden he's like, "Yes, we're taking over." No, you're not.
NC's question. I want to know how the Cornetted trilogies. Well, there's technically 4, isn't there? But 3 in the
I love Dawn of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and obviously The World's End. But Paul is in there as well because that's another good film. So I've seen those 4. Yeah, that's how. That's how I know. I can't believe this. Yeah, I agree with that second one though. And no, I would be awful. I'd be good at the weird stuff though. I just know the random facts about the most weird stuff possible. But
can you just imagine the conversations though? Like genuinely, you could just imagine it, couldn't you? Which Queen song? Couldn't tell you about Queen. They're the most overrated band of all time.
Four films there. I just named. I know. So, yeah, mad, isn't it? See, I know some stuff. Right, should we go back to the football for just?
Oh,
go on. What do you want to ask?
I want to tell you my favourite random fact.
Okay. How random is this going to be?
So it is random, and it makes me chuckle. If you were to be in a position where you could tickle a rat, it would laugh out loud.
What?
That's it.
I mean,
and wombats, I like this one as well. Wombats, when they poo, it's the shape of a cube.
I don't believe that's true about the rat because I watched every episode there was of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Splinter never laughed.
Oh no, that's not real. That's not real.
What is your fact? I've never seen a rat laugh. I don't think you have.
I'm just telling you.
See, don't ever come in our comment section saying you don't learn stuff on this show. If you've taken nothing away from the football opinions that we've given over the last hour, that's what you've learned on this show. I know that's the happiest she's looked all night. Giving those.
Well, everyone's got to find the joy somewhere, haven't they?
Absolutely.
Is there still going to be joy when I ask you for your score prediction in a second?
I'll be fine about it. I'm very zen.
Okay.
I won't be on Sunday at the game. I'll be an absolute devil. I'll be like the devil child. I'll be like the Omen. But fine. I'm fine now.
Well, I'm going to ask you now. What's your score predictions for Sunday? I've still not made my mind up.
My score prediction is 3-2.
In normal time or in extra time?
Normal time. And I'm not telling you to who.
Right, okay.
Nice. I am going to go 2-2 after extra time. Manchester United win on penalties.
I don't even think
that's on his funny bone.
It's one of the comments is dead funny.
Yes.
It's a really funny question.
What do you think, Connor? What do you reckon the score is going to be?
I might just do a Charlie and say 3-1, but not tell you which way to.
Bit like Paul.
Yeah, Paul Highland's gone 3-1 as well. Said he's like, see, my head is saying Chelsea are going to win this comfortably, but there is a part of me that's like, I don't know. I can see us 3-2 in extra time. I think we'll 2-2 get to extra time and we'll win it in extra time. I can't. There's so many comments. This one, though, I can't believe this. That is something else. Michael's relatively new into the chat in terms of the last few months as well, and that's Well, don't know what to say about that. Yeah, I just want to go. Yeah, so do I. Obviously, I hope United win, but who knows? Let's have a look. There's a lot of United wins, to be fair. Sophie's saying 2-1, United 3-1, 4-3 Chelsea, 3-2 United.
Everyone loves an underdog story, don't they?
Well, we are technically under. I'd love to see if you could bet on women's football. I'd love to see what the odds are in terms of a United win on Sunday, because I don't think it'll be very high, despite being the home side. That would be scenes. Can you imagine? What's so funny now?
No, I'm just thinking about if that happened. That would be insane. Wouldn't it be insane?
They're mad.
Yeah, that.
That would be nuts. I don't think I hope. I think
What you're saying there, Amara, is there's a chance.
I think I'd be close to actually wetting my pants in public if that happened. Like, just imagine. Oh God.
Yeah. Who knows? As Amara just said in this barrier, we've got a chance. It's football at the end of the day. Who knows? Chelsea have lost to worse teams than us. So it's possible. It can happen. Chelsea are not invincible, as Barry said earlier. So, and yeah, Ema did make the point. No one believes that the men's side could beat Liverpool. And look at the FA Cup. So, yeah, it can happen, particularly in this competition. So, yeah, I know there's a couple of people laughing as early on why you're being confident and so on. We're football fans at the end of the day. You're going to be confident and try and back your team regardless of result, aren't you? Especially when it comes to a semi-final and especially when it comes to our season. It's literally riding on this one game when it comes to silverware and all those kinds of things.
Why not?
Right.
Why not? Why not?
A winner. There we go. Exactly, NC. So fingers crossed we can. As Antonio said, mentality it is, because I think once we get over that issue once and beat Chelsea, just get over that mental hurdle of knowing that we can do it. Yeah, more to hopefully come on that one. And yeah, Becky's raising an important point as well. They haven't, to be fair. When you look at recent games, they've not been as good as they usually are.
So someone's due a hammering, aren't they?
I think someone said that in the chat earlier. So this is maybe the worst time to play Chelsea because they've just come off the Conti Cup final defeat. Like, they're not playing great. You just know someone's going to get abs. They're not playing Leicester anytime soon, are they? Because usually that's when the 8 and 9 nils come out when they face Leicester. But yeah, I agree. We'll go for the 1-3-7 Charlie formation that you said earlier.
Oh, what a film! Those films were. Oh.
You seen the Mighty Ducks, Connor?
Oh.
I've never even heard of it. I don't know what you're on about.
No, you must watch the Mighty Ducks films. Like, you must. Like, genuinely, you must.
Hang on. When were these films out?
Oh, you would have been
80s, probably 80s, early 90s.
The Mighty. What on earth? I'm just googling it now.
Oh, so good.
Never even heard of these.
It's got a young Joshua Jackson. Young Joshua Jackson in there.
Ducks.
Quack, quack. Oh, they're so good. I might watch them tonight, actually. So good. They're on Disney.
How many films are there?
Don't 3. Do new ones because they're not as good.
I think they could be up to 4 now.
But isn't there a half decent TV series come out? I'm sure there was a TV series, like a series on Disney. Someone in the comments tell me if that's true. Yeah, I'm sure there was.
You've got about 90 seconds before I end the show.
Oh, don't bother.
Oh, we've hit the end. Wonderful.
Oh, God.
So, as this is the Chelsea preview, I have taken a leaf out of Emma Hayes' book. And whilst you guys have been chatting about football, I have been penning a poem.
Oh.
And I have it right here in my hands, ready to go. It's a Man United Chelsea poem. Here we go. It's Emma's final season. Her time is nearly done. She'll look back over all her time and all the things she's won. She'll have such pride, I'm sure she will, of all her shiny trophies. owning all of English football, cutting foes off at the knees. A WSL and FA Cup, a UWCL lined up too. A magnificent treble to say goodbye to us and them and you. But what's that standing in the way, all dressed in red and white? It's world-famous Man United with a centre-back on the right. A gaffer who must stem the tide while all against him raged. A captain who is never dropped with a World Cup winner caged. Nikita Paris, Mary Earps, Millie Mayer Toon. Jays, Garcia, H. Blundell must win the afternoon. For if we don't, our season's done. Fourth, the best we'll get. Less than 2 days for Wembley. Our tactics all are set. Charlie and... I've lost the word. There it is. I'll try again. Charlie and the cracking fans will cheer our ladies home. And Connor with his startling quiff sat there like a gnome. So come on, you Reds, and beat those Blues. A place in history waits. History ahead, my friend. Attack and don't abate.
The fact you came up with that while we were live, just to let everyone know, he's literally written that.
If we win, can you play it over the end of the vlog?
Yes. If we win, I will put it to music.
I'm fully clipping. That's going on TikTok in about half an hour.
That's so good.
You might want to clip out that bit in the middle where I completely misspelt the word cracking because I didn't have a K in it.
I'll do a bit of editing. So you guys live are the only ones that have seen that unedited version. I'm gonna edit that, and yeah, that's probably up the last 2 appearances you've done. You've come up with all those graphics on the match reaction. Now you're writing a poem. I feel like I'm going to be out of a job soon.
Must be nice for pay-wise.
I was going to say we'll sort your contract extension out because you're probably up for renewal, both of you, because you joined around this time 2 years ago. So probably need to get that renewed and sorted. Yeah, you got a lot of. I'll take it, to be fair.
I had to get you in somewhere, and that was the line, so...
If we make the final, they need to put that up in the changing room, on the changing room walls at Wembley in the changing room, don't they, Barry? They need to put it up for them, for the girls. What an incentive!
Jump on the
Get it in the trying to get me banned.
Get it in the Barmy article.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, it only really works if it's like put out there before the game.
Fine.
Especially if you don't win, it'll go a bit wrong then. And it just becomes, to be honest, if we don't win, nobody wants to see that ever again. We do win, I'll come up with a new one.
I was going to say, yeah, that was quite something. And a good way to round off the show. I'm not even going to talk anymore because I'm just want to end the show with that. Just what Barry said there. We'll be back on Monday, 7 o'clock, hopefully talking about a win and diving more into the details of Sunday's game. As I said before, a lot of us are there. Myself, Charlie, Keris, Andrew, you will have seen on the channel as well. We're all there on Sunday. So if you do see us about, come up and say hi. As I said, that's the best thing this season, to be honest. We've had to cling on to is meeting so many of you that come over and say hello and nice things about the channel. So we really appreciate that. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and all of that lovely stuff. The men's channel live literally in 9 minutes' time, previewing tomorrow's game against Bournemouth. So you get to see Barry on who's on tonight? Is it yourself,
John
Andrew?
Neville, Andrew Wall, Jarvis, and Craig from Bournemouth.
There we go. So that's definitely going to be worth the watch. So if you haven't got your All For United fix, tune over 8 minutes time on the All For United channel. You get to see all those lovely people talking about that game. As I said, Monday, 7 o'clock. Set the reminders. We'll be back, hopefully talking about a win. Have a good weekend, all. Should see you guys in the next one.